Sound resumed.
Oh, alright everyone, we are back with another game between SCG Barcode and Fenk. So, didn't change my screen.
Yep.
Okay, so, spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the blue Protoss, we have Fenk. I don't know. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the purple Zerg on Star Station. It is Mr. Barcode.
Is he random?
I didn't notice.
I don't know the rules on this. But nonetheless, let's just cast it. ZVP.
We'll cast it. We'll see how it goes.
Yep. I like ZVP. There's a lot of aggression. Either you do Forge Expand, which it looks like Fink is doing, or you do a 4K harassment on the third into some pressure. Or
Yeah, it looks
pressure
like we'll be
into
seeing
the
some
Macram.
sort of a Forge Expand here. So, it'll be interesting. Possibly a 2-base all-in. I'm saying very likely a 2-base all-in, especially on this map with how open the third base is here. It's very difficult for Protoss to take a third against Zerg, especially with the way Zerg is so quick to move around.
Speedlings! Very strong. Looks like that 14 pull is there. So, very interesting. There is the Force expansion, so a 14 pull is the proper choice. He's going to be getting that hatch on 16.
Yep.
Popping back down to the 15 supply. So,
Very standard.
Very
So-
standard.
I'm not sure, is this the middle of a series that we're coming in? Because it sounds like these players are talking as if they've already played a game together.
It does. We saw the series earlier, but I mean, I'm not sure. I haven't seen Fink and Barco play against each other. Although, I forgot, we wanted to have a rule where you can only say good luck, have fun. But look at this, very aggressive pylons. There is no cannons there, which is actually very interesting.
There is actually one cannon between the two pylons and another one going down there. But that's 600 minerals committed so far just to forcing a cancel on that hatch, which is a lot. He'll most likely, now it's 700 minerals, so it looks like should be canceling the rest of these buildings here. Looks like he's leaving one cannon.
That's pretty strong, because it's going to be hard to effectively answer that early game without roaches. Looks like now the supply block is done for their Barco player. A little bit of BM from
A lot of
him,
BM
but-
from him actually from earlier as well, talking about just a few things that aren't exactly polite. I don't know about you, but I'm of the mindset that every strategy is a strategy, and you have to be prepared for it. You can't just completely dismiss one play style as cheesy, and every time you lose from it, just dismiss it and not learn from it.
That's very true. The probe is still all around for Fink.
Yep, probe's still running around. Double expansion coming from the barcode here. So, I don't know. The probes are just kind of running around with Lings chasing them. This probe in the top right-hand corner will be getting picked off as the Zergling speed is slightly faster than the probe speed. Another pylon going down at the barcodes. Actually, two pylons going down at each of these bases. So, I'm thinking there's another cannons going down here.
Well, this is a good answer for Barco. He's getting both his triple expansion, but he needs to see this cannon on the third area. Metabolic boost is about 30 seconds in, so we'll see. I mean, both players just kind of have to macro up and play defensively, especially Barcode being so behind. But that was a lot of commitment for Fink.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider him behind as he's now on 2 bases, possibly 3. It looks like he's just going to leave
But
his
look at all
cannons
those
to finish.
cannons.
That's a lot of money worth of cannons, though. He cancels that base.
I mean, this is a lot of aggression. It's
and
really
a lot
hard.
of the cannons there. So, 2-base Zerg barely minding the 2 bases against 2-base Protoss here. And especially with how spread out the Zerg's bases are here, if the Protoss were to do some aggression, it would be very hard for the Zerg player to defend it. Zergling speed only 10 seconds away from finishing, so that'll be done very soon, and I'm expecting to see some aggression out of him there. I'm not sure if this is a solid wall. I think a Zergling might be able to fit through there.
I thought about it next to the cannon, but still, you have only so many lings. I think this is pretty solid, though.
Well, 12 more Zerglings on the way, and that combined with the 7 that are already here, that'll be 19 Zerglings. And with Gateway Tech just now starting, and Sentries just now coming out, it looks like he just tested the wall with a probe, and the probe wasn't able to get through. But probes actually take up less mass than a Zergling.
Ooh, look at that, though. Like I was saying, there's no real cost-effective way to really deal with these cannons. And tons of lings did go down to just a couple, not a couple, but quite a bit of cannons. So, looks like Barcode is going to be just trying to get that third up again. But again, look at that. He still has the cannons and the pylons up in his main, his natural.
Yeah, at the natural, 2 cannons and 2 pylons. And now a Robo-Base starting in Fenk's main. So, I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing an Immortal Sentry all-in coming out next. Just judging by the general lack of probes mixed with the earlier cannon rush, I feel like that may be what we're seeing here.
I think that's a good answer as well.
Yeah, it's a good response. And with good force fields, that's the proper response, really. And now the Protoss player has 2 cannons at his natural, but an Artosis pylon. So I wonder if he's expecting some sort of aggression.
The Barcode's also forced to make Roaches deal with these cannons and pylons by his natural. Could still be particularly devastating if not done correctly.
Those Zerglings just don't have any surface area that they can get over there. And that's an issue. This Mothership Core now moving up into the main. The Queen will be able to pick it off as a Queen against a Mothership Core. The Queen does win. And it looks like the Mothership Core is just going to back away, taking 2 hull damage. Not a huge deal.
Doing some damage to the hatchery of the third. I mean, that's just really annoying. You gotta wait for a Queen to either get there, and there's not the creep spread to get there. But look at that. The Queen is going to be trying to waddle all the way to that Mothership Core, which is a good answer.
Dark Shrine on the way now, as well as a War Prism. So, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we'll be seeing from Fenk. I don't expect to see a third coming out of him. I think this Mothership Core is actually going to go down, as he's not actually watching it. So the Mothership Core does die. Cannon's finally dying. That pylon actually having 2 hit points left. I wonder if he realizes he didn't finish it off. That would be 1 drone hit. But that's still able to be warped in from there. So we see a hidden third base in the bottom left-hand corner. And with not a very good overload spread around the map, he's not going to be able to see that unless he sends Zerglings to check it out.
It's definitely a good answer. And it looks like looks like Barcode is looking for a third, doesn't see a third. I mean, the DT Shrine just about to finish alongside with that pylon that's still there in the natural of Barcode, so that could be really devastating. He does have a layer, so he can answer this, but he needs a seat before it happens.
Yeah, a little bit more BM coming out of the Barcode player here. The War Prism now going into the main, with the Dark Shrine just now finishing up. So we'll be seeing how much money does he have to warp in these DTs. Warping in 4 Dark Templar. No detection in the main. Overseer at the natural. That Overseer can move into the main relatively quick, but with the damage output from these DTs, it's not going to take a ton of time to kill this.
But look at that. The Overseer is now arriving in the situation.
He just lifts off into the War Prism and heads over to the I guess this would be the second expansion. Not the natural, but the second expansion. And it looks like he's going to be able to pick this off.
Ooh, all that damage. There is an Overseer on the bottom.
He picks it off, loads back in, not even losing a Dark Templar. His third base looks relatively secure now, with some gateways and some cannons making a wall there. And will he be able to pick off this lair? It looks like he's not going to be able to. He's just going to load up and back on out with some iffy control. But the Zerg player is just not dealing with this very well. He just simply isn't.
A little bit of static defense, some Spore Crawlers in the spine at each base would have been able to deter it fairly decently, but unfortunately,
he just didn't deal with it properly. Now Colossus are on the way, for the Protoss player. And the rally point for the Colossus is all the way across the map. I hope he notices that and controls it properly. These roaches are now moving out. Nope, heading back, just picking off a zealot or two. But the observer sees everything. So War Prism coming down and lifting right back up with these queens, fending it off a little bit.
Just a couple warpins can be devastating for the barcode if he doesn't get any static defense where he needs to. Looks like 2 Spine Crawlers are really are in his main. He needs to keep this layer alive for any attack that he actually wants.
Most definitely he does, and the DT's unload as well as the Warp Prism being in Warpin mode. Nope, switching back out of the Warpin mode. But he could just target fire that layer, and I feel like the layer would be picked off before those spines could do anything about it.
Even if he warps in some zealots, that I think would be the answer to it.
So one more DT getting picked off right there. So, yeah, I mean, the DTs are slowly getting whittled away, but they've been definitely worth their cost. Most definitely. And now Storm started for the Protoss player. Very tiny, tiny army.
He's just teching up.
Very tiny army. 2 Colossus, 2 DTs, 2 Templar, and 3 Sentries on the map. If the Zerg player were to push, I'm not sure who'd be able to hold. The Protoss would have to have the most immaculate force fields to pull it off.
Then again, he's in a good position with Colossus, with range. The Protoss knows where the army is just because of the Observer. He knows how many bases the Zerg has. And all the Protoss has to do is just tech up the way he wants to.
Oh, misclick. Misclick from Fenk. Actually, his cannon's killing his Mothership Core. Now, I'd like to point out a cool trick with that Mothership Core that it did that I've seen a lot of pro players use themselves with hidden bases is put probes under the Mothership Core and recall to your hidden nexus. And it'll transfer the workers that way, and that way the Zerg won't see an SCV or a probe train.
But ooh, that is actually really neat.
The cannon's actually target firing his own Mothership Core, and the Mothership Core goes down. So these DTs picking off a few observers, still no anti-air on the map. Aspire now 20 seconds in, but no anti-air, and that's a huge deal. Because he can't kill this Warp Prism. Hydra range is just about to finish, but 1 Hydra on the map. 1 single Hydra.
Well, Zerg is banking a lot of gas.
He is. He's waiting for that Spire. More Hydras on the way.
There you go, 10 Hydras.
10 more Hydras, but
it costs 100 gas, 100 minerals to get out 1 Hydra. So when you bank out
does it
900
really?
Gas, yes, costs the same as a Muta. So when you have 900 gas or 1,000 gas, that's 10 potential Hydras.
Well, I'm not sure of that cost. That sounds really, really expensive.
Check it out, dude. Press S. Oh, 50 gas.
50 gas. Okay. Yeah, I was about to say there's no way it's 100 gas, especially when he's saving up for that Spire. Hydralisks are gas intensive, but they're not that gas intensive. So I guess he knows that this base is here. I'm not sure how he saw it.
Oh, I think he was just seeing if there was anything there. Maybe he had an idea, but nonetheless, look at that though. I mean, the Zerg player's in a good position now. He saturates his force, saturates his main. There is a zealot aggression.
That base is gonna go down. So many zealots and a couple DTs. 1-2 compared to 0-2. Just such a high level of damage coming out of those Protoss harassment units. And now a zealot chargelet warp in coming into the other base now, and that base is gonna go down as well.
Oh man, I mean it's 184 to 200, but the tech up from the Protoss is just so strong with 3-3 or 3-1. I mean, it's just
both players floating a lot of money.
Is really tech up.
The Protoss is floating a ton, but look at the amount of energy on those Templar. That's so many storms. I'd say he has probably 17 or 18 storms in that army, as well as a couple of Colossus, 5 Colossus. I mean, with the Zerg not having much of an income, that's so much damage output. If he can land those storms properly, the Zerg does have a very well-split army. If the Protoss were to just move down the middle here, okay, I guess the Zerg deciding not to go with it, he would have had a very good concave. Protoss not attacking, just taking another expansion.
You don't even have to try to do it properly with these many High Templar. You just need to click the T button, and one of them will do very effective damage.
Just hold down T and left click everywhere. It's People call Protoss an A-move race. It's not an A-move race. It's A-T click. Get it right, you guys.
AT. There you go.
A-T click. Or A-F click.
This is a good answer from the Zerg, though, getting tons of corruptors.
I wouldn't
And
say
he needs
tons of
that.
corruptors. 8 corruptors on the field right now. The rule of thumb usually is 3 corruptors per Colossus. Now,
It's a good answer.
9 stalkers on the field. Those corruptors will be able to pick off, if the Protoss target fires the corruptors as he should, those corruptors will pick off maybe 1 Colossus, possibly 2, before they go down if he doesn't get more corruptors. So Great Aspire on the way. It looks like he may just morph all those corruptors into Broodlords.
That would be a good answer, too.
It would. But we see the Stargate on the way for the Protoss player, possibly for that mothership. So,
Righty.
So both players doing some BM here. We do have a rule regarding BM. I'm not sure the specifics of the rule, but excessive BM is against the rules here. Both these players doing some minor BM. I'm not sure if that qualifies as enough to get them in trouble.
I think we originally decided that we could tell them, since it's such a new rule, that all you could say is GG and GG well played. That type of situation.
Yeah, 8 Broodlords on the way now, but Blink Stalkers, all these Templar, it's not enough. Those Broodlords, the Protoss would have to have an absolutely awful engagement to lose this here. I don't see it happening.
That's a lot of Broodlords, dude. I don't know. There's not a lot of
Broodlords.
Stalkers, but if the T's do happen and you get the Archons and
Come
look
on,
at that...
the T's! T's!
all the
Storms!
T's.
Colossus! Now this is so many Colossus, so much AoE,
Engage!
that these Broodlords aren't
You see
going to
that
be the
probe blow
best.
up?
I did see the probe blow up. That was fantastic.
Yeah, right.
So, the
Just
Zerg...
Broodlings to the face.
He took about 10 Broodlings to the face. Enough Broodlings to get a first round. So, looks like the Protoss is backing himself into a corner, and with no Mothership Core, that's iffy. I mean, he could end up just losing his entire army since he can't recall. But this is a very good army. I don't know if he would lose it all. Both players
I think he was just trying to get the
200.
ramp. I think he was just trying to get the ramp advantage.
Blinks under the Broodlord. 1 Broodlord goes down. Some really good storms here.
Broodlords are
Some
really
nice force
slow.
fields too. Storms going underneath the Broodlords, and Blink, the army is separated from the Broodlords, and all the Broodlords are going down to these Blink Stalkers. The force fields are separating the rest of the army. The Corruptors are finally coming in. And where are the Storms? The Storm's finally going down,
There
but
you
it's
go.
much too late. The entire army moving on top of... It looks like both players are going to be losing their whole army. Protoss player having a much more expensive army, but he also has a much, much greater income. So the Colossus goes down, leaving just 2 Archons and a Sentry as the army. The Zerg player doesn't have enough to remax, though, and that's a huge issue. We see at the bottom, we see Barcode losing another base to this War Prism with these Chargelets. These Roaches are coming in, but with these Zealots having the better upgrades, being 3-3 with level 2 shields, they can actually kill those Roaches, but it looks like he's just going to target fire the Hatchery. Another Zealot drop at the Natural, killing even more workers.
Little harassment all over, beating across the entire map. This is not looking good for the Zerg player, but he's trading. So
Zerg player
obviously
is
the
only
economy-
mining from 1 base as of right now.
and that's
and
going to be devastating.
That's a huge, huge, huge issue. I'm sorry. And the Protoss player is currently mining from gas on 4 bases and minerals on 3. Manor Nexus is going down. 4 Nexuses. Not even canceling them, just letting them all die. So, I don't know.
Gabe.
I'm not sure what's... The Zerg, I don't think, can come back from this.
He's bleeding. The Zerg player is bleeding at this moment.
He's
There's
not
much he
bleeding,
can
he's
do.
hemorrhaging here. He just...
There you go.
He doesn't have the income. He's in triple-digit income right here, and this late in the game, you should be in the 2000s. You really should. And with these Manor Nexus high going down, Protoss player actually needs more money. But these Corruptors are all just a dead supply right now. But he's not maxed, and he doesn't have the money, so he's just going to turn them into Broodlords.
But look at it this way, though. The Zerg player is still ahead in supply.
He is, but the Zerg player should always be ahead in supply. Protoss does have more workers. So the Zerg has better army supply, but these Manor Nexi are actually going to be relatively useful because it's actually going to form a very good wall-off.
Yes, it is. And there's tons of Stalkers with Blink, so it's going to be pretty devastating, especially with the upgrade advantage that the Protoss has.
This is so many Stalkers. 30 Stalkers and 3 Archons. Nope, 6 Archons now. About to be 7
looks like
Archons.
the Nexus is now done.
Those Manor Nexi are going to go down. Taking a 5th base now for the Protoss player, but...
The Protoss needs to get more production, though. He needs to put, like, 5 more gates down just to get remaxed really fast.
He does. The Protoss could probably get away with right now. Instead of doing those Manor Nexi, he could just take 6 or 7 more bases. Just expand everywhere. And these Blink Stalkers being so mobile, it looks like they're just going to walk up to the 3rd base, blink in, pick off the hatchery, blink out, run off. Because these Broodlords are just so slow.
And it looks like Barcode knows that that's going to be a situation. A couple Zealots were warped in to deal with this hive, and they are going to be able to take out something, but there's an entire army that's going to stop them, and now the hive is in the red. Close to the orange.
3rd base. The 3rd base is now dead.
Ooh.
3rd base is gone. The income is left down to 1 base that doesn't have many workers on it.
That is devastating.
600 income right now.
This is just bleeding the Zerg dry. I mean, the Zerg needs the economy. He doesn't even have queens to inject. So once he loses this army, that's it.
If he loses this army. We see double Stargate as well as air upgrades coming down now. It's actually triple Stargate as there's already 1 finished. So, wow, lots of Archons. At the 5th base, he needs those Archons with his main army to have the splash damage. Those High Templar are good, but the Archons would be better.
Would be the answer. The Archons would be better.
High Templar are good, Archons are good. Both of them together is fantastic. So these Broodlords, if he can get an engagement where those Broodlords are right now in the little hole there,
look at that,
they can't be attacked. Mothership on the way. How
Something
often nowadays do we see a Mothership?
You haven't seen a Mothership in a long time.
Mothership is just like, I have so much money, I don't care anymore. But with
there's no answer for this Mothership either. All that's left is the Broodlords and Roach Hydra.
It looks like the attack's going to be going down before the Mothership finishes.
Which is kind of upsetting, but you know what? That's alright.
The Broodlords are going at the cannons here, and the Protoss actually can't get a good engagement because these buildings are in the way here. But those Broodlords are so clumped up. 1 storm could hit all of them. And he gets 1 storm, puts a couple of them in the yellow, doesn't kill any of them. A Zealot Warpin killing another base. And the Zerg player is just not dealing with these Warpins at all. And that's what's really causing him to just be so far behind. This Mothership is now finishing. Protoss player will most likely be getting rid of some supply soon. Chrono boosting out Void Ray after Void Ray. I want to see Tempests. I do, so badly. Tempests are a good answer to Broodlords. Void Rays are also a very good answer here. 6 Corruptors on the way. That'll be the only anti-air units on the field. There are 3 Hydras. That's not enough to take out a Mothership core and some Void Rays. The Warp Prism did get picked off, but another one is in production as of right now. And this Protoss Air has the level 3 shields and level 1 attack. The Protoss Air is just going to be so powerful. And that Mothership core is now out. Or that
I wonder
Mothership,
how big the Time Warp is for the Mothership. Is it the same size? Ooh, he's freeing up supply. Look at that.
He's freeing up supply. He's killing his own units, making 3 Void Rays at a time. These Void Rays are going to be able to do so much damage. Especially with the lack of anti-air. I mean, there are a couple Corruptors here, but those Corruptors will just go down so fast to this Archon Stalker. I mean, this is the end game army for Protoss. And another warp, actually not a warp, and just units walking right up a DT and a Zealot, and there's nothing at home to prevent it.
Oh man, the problem is there are Overseers, so this Mothership core is almost null and void. But the Time Warps, I wonder if it's double the size. I really hope so.
Feedback's going down actually on the Overseers, but not having enough energy. These storms are so fantastic. All the Broodlords are in the orange. There's
some XP,
more BM.
Whatever that means.
More BM on a Fenk. Looks like he's just gonna target fire
Then
those.
GG, well played. I have a feeling that they're both friends. They played each other before.
Not sure.